Yeah, just about as groovy as a 10-cent movie. I'm your man, Calvin Gibbs, and this is Drama Talk Radio. Now, as you know, Drama Talk Radio is the show where the word drama, DRAMA, stands for developing real and moving art. We're so happy, blessed, and pleased that you're joining this podcast on this day. Hey, I got a very special show for you today. In the studio with me is Cortez Mack, who is a filmmaker, and I have some of the cast from an upcoming film. It's called My Sister's Cup. So, first of all, I want to say welcome you all to Drama Talk Radio.
Thank you,
Glad to
sir.
be with you.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Now, My Sister's Cup. The trailer is out and it's won all kinds of awards. I can't even tell you all of the awards. I'm going to ask the filmmaker himself to tell us a little bit about that. But it is an inspirational, heartfelt story about four sisters, Josephine, Jackie, Nita, and Samantha. And they learn the value of sisterhood and forgiveness as they deal with their family dynamics. So Cortez, welcome, and I'm going to ask you to tell us a little bit more about this film.
Allowing us to come on. My Sister's Cup is an inspirational story, man, that was dropped on me a couple years ago. And it's really about bringing sisterhood together and showing the value of healing and wisdom through the lens of our women, our sisters, as far as holding each other accountable in their spaces and learning how to heal together. You know, not carrying this burden of anger and all these negative things that we see, but a story that shows that sisters can learn from their mother, which the Bible tells us, learn from the aged women, you know, and learn how to, forgive each other, themselves, and learn how to heal. And it's just a story that I just think a lot of our women need to see as well as our men, because it shows forgiveness and healing to our men as well.
Okay, fantastic. Now, when you talk about forgiveness, what's the storyline?
Well, the storyline is about a two-parent home, which is Johnny Lee and Orlean. They have four daughters, but the father kind of shows an image that stick with the daughters and kind of damage them as children. But as they get older, they still carry these wounds as they become grown adult women. But their mother, teach them value that you have to learn how to forgive in order to heal and get to your purpose. And they go through a journey. Each other go through a journey, but they go through the journey together and learning how to help one another get their healing. And the forgiveness part is that in most cases, we see a lot of issues out here saying that fathers are not in the homes. But this particular father left because he figured he did something real bad. And it took a toll on him. But in order for him to heal, he had to get forgiveness ask for forgiveness first, his wife, and then his daughters, in order for him to heal. And the spirit of forgiveness heals the entire family.
Okay. Because I remember one time I did something I wasn't supposed to do. My father tore my butt up. And it took me a long time to forgive him, man. I think me and him still got to have a talk about that. But as you said, I know that the theme of your movie is much, much more serious than that. So we also have on the line with us Anna Franklin, who plays the mother. And I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself, Anna.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
And from your point of view, playing the older mother, there's a couple places in the trailer where the mother's younger, interacting with the daughters, and then another one where she's older. You play the older one. How was it
Yes.
doing the filming? trying to reach? What did you draw upon to get that message to the daughters?
I guess maybe some of my own experiences back in the day when raising my children. Um, you got to have that spirit of love, and she showed that in the movie and film, that she loved her children, and that was the main thing. So her whole persona was all about love.
Mm-hmm.
Love and forgiveness, and that's what she seemed to be really teaching them, is to make sure that they love one another no matter what. That's one of the things I think we most want to leave with our children, is that you come together with your family and you love them and you love each other, and just forgive, because you can't take none of that other stuff with you. I mean, you can take it with you, but it won't help you now. Just to walk in love.
Okay.
I think that's the biggest lesson that I learned.
Okay, fantastic.
To walk in love.
Walk in love. Now we also have Brother Alvin on the line with us. If you can unmute yourself, Alvin. And
yes, sir.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about who you play in the film.
Well, I played the pastor to the family, and I basically doing my best to try to keep, Mama Orlean, encouraged, let her know that we're constantly praying for whatever it is, because initially we don't completely know what she's dealing with, but we can tell just by her demeanor early in the film that she's got a lot on her plate. And we're just trying to encourage her, the pastor and the first lady, that, we're constantly praying for her and we're always there for her if she needs us.
Let me ask you a question about your character as a pastor. If now this is all hypothetical, of course, but if you were a real life pastor and had to deal with a member of your flock being in a bad marriage relationship, besides just praying for them, are there any other steps that you might consider to help that member of your church?
Well, I would definitely recommend to try to get both parties to, come and, speak to me in terms of some counseling to try to help them, resolve whatever it is they're going through, and maybe even some individual counseling on a personal level, because that, the only way you can really interact with the person that you say is your significant other or your spouse is you can't really change them. You can only change yourself. And if, individual counseling, through the church or whatever would help, that would always be something I would do. It's been done for me in my personal, my marriage. So I would always consider that to be one of the first steps to take.
Fantastic. Now, I do know it takes two to tango. It takes two to be counseled. Cortez, I'm going to unmute you for a second. And I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself. There you go. One more time, Cortez, unmute yourself, please. Okay, thank you. In this pandemic environment that we found ourselves in the last year, a lot of relationships have struggled because the abuse has been going on, and the experts even said that they were expecting the phone lines or the places to report it to blow up. But then they realized it wasn't happening because these people were now sheltered in place. They couldn't call for help. And me not knowing the full dynamic of your story, the film, is there anything like that goes on where the wife can't reach out for help other than the church?
Well, in the story itself, outside of the spiritual leaders, the pastor and the first lady, in which the first lady, being a woman, is written to be more compassionate and sincere to the mother and can relate on the spiritual side, and that's why the first lady really digs deep. But outside of that, the oldest daughter reminds the mom how much of a good mother she's been. Um, and there's a church mother who constantly checks on her. Her friend ministers to her in song to give her encouragement and hope. So there's various characters who always, even the father, when he comes back and asks for his forgiveness, he even shares his sentiment of forgiveness, what he caused into the mental and emotional abuse with not only with the mother but with the children, and that's how he becomes free. But yet he still has to go on a journey to almost feel like the spirit of his wife have forgiven him in order for him to move on. Because throughout the film, the father is like the most humblest character in the world, where he don't feel even honored to be the girl's father anymore for what he done. So it's a lot of elements of reaching and encouraging the mother from different, even some of the daughters. So it's in there.
Okay.
But I try my best to put it there.
Okay, we're gonna come back to that in just a second. But I have brother Kelvin on the line as well. I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself, sir.
All right.
Kelvin, now in the film, you played the father, in the older age. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, how did your character deal with the stigma, if you will, for lack of a better word, of being that person causing strife in the family? How did your character react to causing that pain?
Well, he went through a lot, not seeing his family for over 25 years. And like Cortez said, at 25 years later, he's just so humble. He's felt so unworthy to be the daughter's father. He had done anything good, and he just was just struck with pain and sorrow for what he caused his family. And he's just downtrodden. He's living in a homeless shelter, and life has been hard for him. He's been humbled.
As an actor, where did you find the emotion from? I would imagine he's humbled, he's downtrodden, might have been some tears. Where did you go to get that emotion from?
Well, I looked at my own experience with my own children. I have 4 boys and 2 girls. And I think of all the times that I really messed up and I missed certain aspects of their lives. And I drew on that. And then also, I grew up without a father. So I knew that pain of not having a father in the house. I drew from that pain also, seeing that this is what I wanted my father to say to me and how he wanted to be in my life. So all that came in I kind of combined all together and created the character Johnny Lee.
Okay, fantastic. Now, Cortez, I have a question for you, sir, because I was doing some research. I do my research before these interviews, and I had to find out about different types of abuse. There's 10 top ones, but the top ones, the top 3 is physical abuse, domestic violence, sexual abuse, and psychological or emotional abuse. Now, you mentioned a mental abuse, I believe, a few minutes ago. How, as a filmmaker, and I don't know how graphic you got into it in the movie, but I'm waiting to see how this is going to turn out. What types of abuse is represented in the film?
Mental, emotional, and mental, emotional, and verbal.
Okay. No physical?
No, sir. I just believe there's too much out there, and we don't need to see that in every film.
True that. Very true. The assault and hitting and slapping, punching, all that. Some people would say it makes for a good movie because it may be more real to life. But I commend you for, even if it happens, maybe alluding to it without showing it. I think that's a great thing. Where did this storyline?
Thank you, sir.
Where did this storyline come from, as far as your idea for a movie? What made you deal with this subject?
Oh Lord, easy answer. I'm the only boy of 3 sisters.
Oh, there you go.
I'm the only male in my house. All my spiritual leaders have been women. So the dynamic of being sort of kind of the only, and then in my household, of my siblings, I'm the oldest. So in being the oldest and the only boy, you see things, and most sisters, well, my sisters pretty much didn't share a lot of things with me, but there were some things they were dealing with. So even with that, I had to be compassionate, even if they didn't want to tell me that's what they may have dealing with. Because I'm a boy, they may feel like I didn't understand, but I still had to be compassionate. I still have to show that I love them and care for them and want to see them the best. But at the same time, it's just not all the time I've seen them come together and always talk about the real, honest side of things that they were dealing with. It's always the emotional, which is okay. But the honest side of, okay, we got to learn how to do better and be better, and even in our decisions. So all these elements, I just wanted to make a film where that even my, I just wanted to make a film where that it will show a side of women that they can be proud of, instead of attacking each other.
Okay.
Lifting each other up, praying for each other. So,
okay,
that's where it comes from.
Fantastic.
And it's scripture-based.
Most important, scripture-based. I love that. Love that. Anna, can you unmute yourself for a second, please?
Yes, sir.
Now, I was talking just yesterday with my wife, and we were talking about the perceptions that some men have towards women. And I'm an East Coast guy, born and bred in Brooklyn, New York. And when I moved out here to the Midwest, I saw a difference. I talked to the brothers. Brothers. And there's a difference in how they see women.
Okay.
Than, let's say, on the East Coast. There's a notion that guys have out here that's a little different than on the East Coast. I'm not saying one is better or one is worse than the other. I'm just saying that it's different.
Yeah.
As a woman, an African American woman, what are your thoughts about how women are treated in general? We know that the Me Too movement is a big thing these days, but as an African American woman, what would you like to see done better or different as far as the treatment of women?
Wow. Okay. I have 2 sons that I raised by myself as a single parent. And one of the things that I wanted to make sure that my sons knew that there is a way to treat a woman. If you don't treat her right, I mean, how can you treat the mother of your child with disrespect? You know what I'm saying? Because you had mother first. So I always made sure that my children, chivalry was not dead in our family. And so I made sure that my sons treated women the way they should have been treated, because there is no real difference between a man and a woman, other than, the way God made them. But I'm saying everybody wants to be treated with respect. Everybody, male and female, wants to be treated with consideration and thought about, and just the whole gambit of love. We want to always walk in love, because what you give out is what you get back. That's the way I see it. What you give out is what you get back. And if you treat people the right way, the way you want to be treated, then I think things will flow a lot better in our lives. Okay. So my sons had to wash dishes. I'm sorry.
No, I said I'm agreeing with you. Amen.
Okay. My sons had to wash dishes, and my daughter had to wash dishes. My son had to learn how to cook. My daughter had to cook. So when they went off to school, I remember my middle son saying, everybody was wondering what was he doing, because he was washing dishes, he was cooking for himself. He didn't have to worry about somebody else or whether or not he was going to eat, because he knew how to cook. So I just think that we need to make sure that our girls treat themselves right, love themselves, and don't take nothing, no wooden nickels, so to speak, and I'll leave it there. Don't take no wooden nickels. And the same with the men, with respect, but we don't have to act like we have to take the abuse, any kind of abuse. We don't deserve that.
Thank you for that insight. I have an adult daughter, and in raising her, I always taught her that she is the queen and she should be respected as the queen, and not to allow or be in a situation where she's not considered as such. So thank you for that. Brother Alvin, I got to get back to you for a second.
I'm here.
Now, for your character, where did you draw the emotional aspect from it? You were the younger pastor, right?
I'm in the older. I'm in the second half. So I'm with the mama. I'm younger than her, of course, but
okay.
It's that older time that I'm in.
Okay. Well, as an actor, where did you draw your emotion from?
Well, I grew up in a large family, so, the large families that you grow up in, they have issues. I was the youngest of 10, and I only had 2 sisters and it was 8 boys, but it's, you go, being that dynamic, you go through a lot of different things, you're going to have literally some good apples in the family, and you're going to have some bad apples in the family that big. So, you kind of, you take a little bit, from that, and it definitely shapes who you are as a person. From a pastor perspective, I mentioned to you, before we got on camera, I've been around some dynamic pastors, and like I said, I've interacted with a lot of them personally, and I have quite a lot of friends that, have had, different kind of situations similar to this, so it's a lot of personal experience, my own personal experience too, having to be counseled, so it just kind of gives me a lot to draw from, to be able to bring to that character.
Great. As an actor, I believe that the first place you go to develop your character is within your own experiences.
Absolutely.
Best place to draw. That's the first place you should look to draw from. Brother Cortez, please unmute yourself and tell us about some of the awards. I know I was looking at the flyer that you sent me, and it seemed like this trailer has gotten so many awards. Tell us about some of the awards it's gotten.
Brother Cal, I'm shocked more than you.
Now wait a minute. I know you're modest because the way you just started. Well, Brother Calvin, come on, man.
Listen, the first time it was screened was in LA, and it got reviews, and that was the first official selection in 2018. And after that, I really just kind of put it out there, and based off the storyline, you wouldn't think that it would make sense within film festivals. But just within the last 4 months, I'm trying to tell you, I celebrate my cast. I let them know all the time. This has to be in line with God, because to get the type of awards that we're winning off a trailer and the movie ain't even out yet.
Right.
Listen, that it's blowing my mind. It literally is. And at times I sit and I just think, and this is live being recorded. Sometimes like 1 or 2 tears just fall out my eye, because I'll be like, what have I done to even get this type of accolade? Mm-hmm. And that's why every time there's a official selection, a comment from wherever, I share with the cast and thank them, and even send them the email, the certificate they can print out for themselves, because none of this would be possible with any of them. Even the ones who are not in the trailer, they still, like Brother Al Greenup has stuck with me for like 2 years on this. It's Miss Anna stuck around for like 2 years on this.
All right.
And Brother Kelvin, I didn't cast everybody, and I just waited until God sent me somebody, and I reached out to Brother Kelvin, and listen, he jumped right on. So I'm to believe in all my humbleness. I'm trying not to get a little emotional, because I got to get to another gig. But listen, just for anybody who decided to be a part of this, it's beyond an honor. And I share all these accolades with this entire cast, from the spiritual covering to the soundtrack artist. Listen, most people don't stick around.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Brother Gibbs, you know this.
Yes.
If your project ain't moving as quick, people go. But I'm humble. Listen, all these accolades and awards, it look good with my name on it, but this is for this cast where I'm trying to tell you. I want to celebrate them beyond all the official selections, the winners. I mean, Europe, Sweden. Listen.
That's fantastic.
Listen, bro, go ahead. Because I'm listen, go ahead.
I was just gonna
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's fantastic. When you get international recognition, that's when you know that God's hand is on the project, because not just your local people are looking at this, people from another country is looking at this and have given an award to it. And as you said, the movie's not even out yet. So God's hand is on it, man.
I just want to add 2 more cents to that. And the other 2 cents is the fact that, as much as I know Alvin, Brother Al, and Sister Anna would know, we've tried to film this a couple of times. It always got rescheduled, canceled. The pandemic pushed it back and discouraged people. And, but God allowed these people's hearts to stay on. This is why, listen, I'm trying my best to be in the backbone of this. I want God to get every ounce of glory out of this film. If I don't ever do another film that makes sense, I want God to get the entire glory, even in our rehearsals, Brother Calvin. And these 3 people were in our last rehearsal in another church while they were having an event. They allowed us to come in and rehearse. And in the middle of the rehearsal, God came in and started blessing us, where the people in the fellowship hall came out into our rehearsal. And we couldn't even fully rehearse because the presence of God was in the rehearsal.
All right.
Listen, I need to bring it back down, because to God be the glory. If it had not been for the Lord, listen, I'm reeling it back in. I have to.
All right.
Because just thinking about what God is doing, what God is doing, and we always want to have that moment to say God is doing this. If I can't say it, I know these 3 people on this line witnessed God in the rehearsal.
Okay.
So,
And
I digress.
Oh, not at all. But I just wanted to say that I think it's well deserved. I've watched you over the years. I've seen the clips and the films that you've done before. Um, I've known you for, I guess, close to 10 years now. So I've been following you. Don't always say anything, but I follow. And I think it's well deserved. And for the cast that's here and the cast that's going to listen to this podcast, I will say this: you have a good leader in Cortez, because a leader is somebody that will put the accolades of the people around them before them. Okay? As a director in the theater, I always gave props to the cast and the crew. They're the ones that built the set. They're the ones that doing the tech stuff. They're the ones that selling the tickets and keeping the theater in place. I was just maybe the writer or maybe the director, but I always made sure that they got a piece of the pie and that they were acknowledged. And that's what a good leader does. You don't have to be front and center and all the spotlights on you, but you need to make sure that your cast know that they are appreciated and they get the appreciation that they are due. So you guys got a good man in Cortez. Cortez, when is this coming up, man? When is don't you wipe your eye, man. You wipe your eyes. You sir, Cortez, don't unmute yourself, man, so I can talk to you. Unmute yourself. Cortez, when is this going to be completed? When is the film coming out? When are you going to finish shooting?
Summer.
Take a moment, because this is a podcast. I got to keep telling people that what's going on. Cortez is getting a little emotional right now, but he knows I'm telling the truth. It's all good, bro. It is all good. It is all good. And I know that whenever we've been in this pandemic, and it does take time to get things scheduled, and you have safety protocols to work out. It's going to take some time, and even when you have a schedule, it may not be, it may not happen on the schedule that you want, but yeah, it's going to happen. So do you think it might happen this summer?
2021. We listen. Listen, talk to somebody else, because
Okay. I'm going
just
to ask.
overwhelmed.
I'm going to ask everybody else to unmute themselves, and yeah, we'll just go for it. Do any of you guys know if this might be finished this year? Brother Alvin?
I can speak to that. As far as we know, we hope to have it finished before the end of the summer.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
We start shooting sometime next month.
Okay. Sounds good. Now, I did get a list of cast. It's a pretty big cast list, and a pretty big crew list as well. So I know there's a lot of moving parts and people to deal with and personalities to handle as far as project management goes. But I'm sure it's going to come out well. Brother Kelvin, yes.
One thing, Brother Calvin, I want to mention this, that Cortez possibly on later, but the whole production team, the entire production team are all women.
Oh, okay.
All women.
I did not know that. See, and he's modest. He's not even going to. Wasn't even going to tell me. Thank you.
The music score is done by a young lady named Morgan E. Very talented music director. The entire crew are all women.
Okay. Fantastic. Man, this is going to be fire. It's going to be fire.
Yeah.
So, between Anna, Alvin, Kelvin, any last thoughts that you want to say about the film or your participation in the film?
Well, I'll just say that it was an awesome experience for me, and whatever Mr. Mack does, I'll be there. And so, and I look forward to us, completing the film, and everybody that I've shown the trailer to loves it, and they can't wait till it's out.
Fantastic.
That's all I want to know is when is it going to be out. So I'm excited.
Fantastic. And I will give the website. It's
Okay.
JKBU, which stands for Jesus Keeps Blessing Us, at yahoo.com. That's the email. JKBU.com. Is that correct for the website? Cortez?
Yes.
I'm sorry, y'all, but I would probably direct people to the Facebook, the fan page,
Okay.
because the website needs to be updated. We haven't updated it in a minute, so the fan page have all the current information on it.
Okay.
And that's on Facebook.
And that is My Sister's Cup on Facebook. You can do the search in Facebook and find the page and get all of the information there. I want to thank you all, the cast and director of My Sister's Cup, for being on Drama Talk Radio. Once this film comes out and I have a chance to review it, I definitely want to have you guys back and talk about it and delve a little deeper into it. You have a home here at Drama Talk Radio Podcast. So God bless you all. And that's about
God bless you.
Thank you.
Calvin.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you all. And that's about all, y'all, for this segment of Drama Talk Radio. I've had the cast of My Sister's Cup on with me and the director, Brother Cortez Mack. And it's always imparting that we take 2 steps to the rear and get on out of here until the next episode of Drama Talk Radio. Exit stage left.